Welcome back to Wake Up America Weekend. Last week, Operation Midway Blitz, that multi-agency federal operation in Illinois, said that they had captured more than 1,000 illegal immigrants there.
Now, the sweep, focusing on Chicago and surrounding areas, targeted individuals with criminal records, including gang members and drug traffickers, according to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, that is. Now, this comes amid Trump's push to crack down on sanctuary cities, with Noem stating, "We're not asking permission, we're enforcing the law." Now, for more on this, let's welcome in attorney and certified criminal law specialist Wayne Cates, as well as criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Lindsay Richard. We're also joined by our special guests in studio, Angie Wong and Nicole Brennecki. Simon, am I going to go to you first here? Yes, okay, I am. Great. Okay. All right. Operation Midnight Blitz has arrested over 1,000 illegal immigrants, as we just mentioned, including gang members and rapists here. How does this operation demonstrate the need for federal enforcement to override sanctuary policies in states like Illinois?
Good morning.
Good morning.
This operation is obviously necessary because local politicians aren't doing their job, and they would rather play politics than enforce laws and ensure public safety. So the federal government is stepping into a breach that was created by local politicians.
Briscoe, do we have you? There we go. Okay, so Briscoe, you know, you've one of the folks who really was a driving force behind getting the Mexican drug cartels classified as terrorist organizations. The arrests of these MS-13 affiliates, murderers in Illinois, they highlight these sanctuary failures, but it's not a problem just there. Where else do we need to see this kind of state-federal cooperation?
Well, look, the state of Texas had to pass laws to force local sheriff's departments to cooperate with ICE. It is an issue across the country, but it is exciting. Look, the enforcement's happening. Tren de Agua, gone. Criminal arrest all over the place. It's a beautiful thing. These are exactly what we voted for. And if your children are sleeping better at night, think ICE.
Angie,
yeah, no, go for it.
Angie, I want to come to you because it's what he was just saying is true. People voted for this, overwhelmingly voted for this, and yet you have Democrats, despite the fact that they're making real gains in these cities like Chicago and Memphis, they're saying that, well, Trump is a fascist and this is turning into Nazi Germany because he's deploying troops to deal with and federal forces to deal with Antifa, which is another domestic terrorist organization, in places like Portland. Talk to us about this disconnect that we're hearing.
Yeah, and Democrats have had decades to clean up their own cities. They haven't. They've received federal funding, and they've done everything supposedly that they can. They even campaigned on the idea of public safety. It's only when Trump got into office that all of a sudden they don't want this, and now we see their true colors. And worse, they're pairing federal law enforcement with local law enforcement and having them butt heads on local streets in Chicago, in Portland, and other cities. And that is terrible because they're tying the hands of local police. And the federal agency, the federal law enforcement is really there in support of local police to free them up, to give them more man hours and more manpower so they can actually go into these streets and do their jobs.
They want to do that.
They want to.
And the local law enforcement want to actually do their jobs.
That's right. And that's the mandate that the American people gave to our president and also to all the city leaders. But the city leaders are pushing back on it. We have to ask why.
I'm going to ask you that, Nicole. Why? Because I actually did a ride along with ICE and went out with them in D.C. as they were arresting these illegal immigrants. And they said that since they have been there, the local police have been cooperating with them. This is when they had that 30 days that they were federalized. Before that, they weren't allowed to. They were not allowed to talk, but they wanted to. So are we going to see more of this? And why are these local leaders not letting them do their jobs?
Just to criticize the administration, and what the administration said it was always adamant about doing is enforcing these immigration policies. There will be criticism of these operations because there are some collateral arrests of people who have no criminal record and no and they're American citizens. But these people have civil remedies. They can sue for unlawful detention if they feel aggrieved and pursue justice in that regard. So I think that cooperation of the local authorities shows that perhaps the local leaders are not really looking out for safety, but the police is.
Yeah, look, before we go, we have 1 minute left. So, Briscoe, actually, I'm going to give you both 30 seconds each on this, if you don't mind. The Trump administration says that it's going to be targeting left-wing anarchy. So how can federal-state partnerships strengthen in order to target what they're calling anarchy here? Simon, I'll come to you first. 30 seconds, if you can.
Look, the local politicians cannot make this a war between states and cities and the federal government. They have to figure out how to cooperate to allow the federal government to enforce laws that were passed by Congress. That's non-negotiable. Otherwise, we're setting ourselves up for civil war.
Okay, Briscoe?
Certainly. Look, it's a numbers game, and I'm happy that we've ensured that at least the state of Texas will cooperate with the federal government. We have to partner together because we have the local insight and the connections to make sure that the feds can do their jobs here in Texas. Again, this is exactly what we voted for. And finally, we've got a president that's allowing these people to do their job. For Pete's sakes, it's very simple. America first means deport everybody, no exceptions. It also means get rid of the criminals, get the fentanyl off our streets, put American children and families first.
Absolutely. All right,
And it
gentlemen.
seems to be working.
It does seem to be working, indeed. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Simon Hankinson, Briscoe Cain, we appreciate you coming on today. All right, we are going out for a quick break, though, but when we return, the